specifically To Be Kissed Upon the Eyes is a reference in the song Much More. And I learned that song without any of the context of the show. So I was like, that's weird.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music of
Okay. Did you get Phantom of the Opera vibes? Because I did.
Yeah! Also, did you get Into the Woods vibes?
Yes.
Of the plot structure.
Yeah, I was
Amazing.
literally thinking, I was just like, what is a similar plot structure of like Act 1, you think Act 1 is going to end in a happy ending, and then surprise, a giant falls from the sky.
Truly.
With like a dash of Princess Bride.
Interesting. I could see that. And I was going to
Mostly
say like
for
with like
El
with like
Gallo.
a salt bay of Oklahoma.
The setting is Oklahoma.
The
Okay.
stock is
Well-
Oklahoma. The ingredients are
Are-
Phantom. The recipe is Into the Woods.
Into the Woods. And like a dash, like a last minute dash of Princess Bride. Like you played it like Princess Bride.
Yeah.
A dollop of
This is the
sour cream on the
recipe.
top is how you
Exactly.
make the Fantasticks. We should do that bit
Yeah.
more often of like a little bit of
That's
this salt,
so
sugar,
silly.
spice, and everything nice. And then you get the Fantasticks. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to 5678, a movie musical podcast. The podcast where we review and recap movie musicals. And this week, we are doing the 1995/2000 film, and we'll get into why that is later, The Fantasticks, starring Joel Grey, Zorro, and the Phantom of the Opera.
Truly. Yeah, I had never seen
Neither had
this.
I.
And I hadn't heard any of the
Oh, see,
music.
I was familiar with the finale song, which is the Try to Remember a Time. That's like
Yes.
one of the most famous songs.
I'm sure that I like that song sounded familiar, but I wouldn't have been able to sing it for you if you had asked, like that kind of thing.
And then I had done much more in vocal lessons, voice lessons.
Because it's very much a soprano thing, which has never been
Yes.
my bag. So
Sorry. I don't know why that tickled me. Yeah, I knew it was a very, very long running show. I knew it was like kind of a small cast. Was not familiar with the plot at all.
Nah.
Beyond the conceit. Like, I think I knew that it was like, fathers don't want their kids to get together. All right, we start in
the West.
like rural Oklahoma. I say Oklahoma. I don't think it's ever explicitly said.
It's,
and
it's very specifically never said. It's supposed to be some unknown
but like
town.
Midwestern cornfield Americana. We see two
very much farm country.
We see two houses with front yards. Like the houses are next to each other, but there is
Both
no other
alike in
house to be
dignity.
seen. Both like indignity, honestly. It's like the Barbie Ken house at the Barbie Wednesday Addams house.
Yeah.
Two houses, so almost saltbox houses, like they are squares with triangle roofs and front lawns, and no other houses in the area, and they're next to each other. One's very well kept, one is fallen down around our ears. My very first comment about this film was, what is this, Oregon Trail? Because I saw what I would learn to be the circus coming to town, but all I saw was the big wagons, and I was like, I didn't think it was that old of a film. And then I was like, oh no, those are cars. Those are
cars, those are not horses. Yeah, so we see a traveling circus coming into town, and we get the overture, which I actually really enjoyed this setup sequence of the music and getting everything prepared. It felt very much like the moment in The Pirate where everything is getting set up and like this music is swelling, and you kind of get this vibe of like, ooh, something new is coming into town.
And we meet our ringleader, for lack of a better word,
MC,
of
basically.
the circus, our MC. I got big Jesus Christ Superstar vibes from this guy.
I got like
oh.
minor Johnny Depp in like Pirates.
Yeah,
vibe.
which makes sense for for why you were thinking of the pirate.
Yeah.
And we get a cute little title card where they like unfurl the sign that would be about the circus, and it's the Fantasticks, which might, I guess, be the name of the traveling circus.
I think
But
it's
they
supposed
never
to be.
reference it.
No, and
They never,
we
like-
never get like that always super duper fun and silly like title reference. Like
No, we never got it. We never got a
that
bell.
moment of just like he's the Phantom of the Opera.
I guess they really were all my sons.
Guess it really was a long day's journey tonight.
I guess it really was all that jazz.
Oh, this is my new favorite bit. I could do this forever.
we have a podcast to do.
All right, so
Okay.
we start.
I guess it really
with
was
Joel
a raisin
Grey.
in the sun.
The raisin in the sun. Because that really was a cat on a hot tin roof.
At least I know for. All right. Anyway,
We should do other things. Okay.
we're annoying.
So,
okay. Cut to the two houses.
menaces to society.
Cut to Joel Grey.
Yeah.
Mr. Wizard, what are you doing here?
I know, truly.
Speaking
so
of the MC.
he is in his farmhouse. He is making clothes, and we see him call for his daughter Louisa, and we cut up to her in her room, and she's very much a girl trying to like find her first love, trying to find
I got big
adventure.
Kim from Bye Bye Birdie vibes.
Yeah, and I got like Maria from West Side Story.
Yeah,
and, like
that like young
like,
ingenue.
the young ingenue, and it's so funny because this is gonna like the vibes that we're feeling for this are gonna happen a lot because the plot is intentionally structured to follow along with tropes. This show feels like a commentary on tropes of like stage. So
Yeah.
that's why there's a lot of vibes. I said to Anna before we opened, this is a musical of vibes, not necessarily
vibes.
a plot.
Of plot. We're just here for the vibes. Louisa is reading from a little handbook that she has tucked in her jewelry box called The Art of Kissing. And she reads an entry, and it's like different kinds of kissing. So she reads, I think, entry number 60, a kiss upon the eyes, and what that's supposed to feel like. And it's because again, like that is mentioned and is a recurring device in this film, but that specifically to be kissed upon the eyes is a reference in the song much more. And I learned that song without any of the context of the show, so I was like, that's weird.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
I get it. But she hides the book from her father. She goes downstairs, and she wants to go into town. He asks her to try on this dress that he's making, but he notices, most importantly, that she's wearing her mother's necklace. So one parent's always got to be dead in a musical. I don't know what to tell you.
You can't have two parents, and if you do, it's next to normal, and it's not great, y'all.
And it's not great.
So
And Louisa remarks that it's hard for her to envision her father as a romantic person. But obviously he was at one point because he gifted this necklace to her mother, whom he loved very, very much.
And I want to say there are so many funny, quippy one-liners in this movie that did make me exhale through my nose. But this was the first one was she's like looking out the window all dramatic and it's like, Father, I have to take wing. And he's like, it's duck hunting season. And I was just like, this is the perfect example of just like the wistful trope of an ingenue. And then the dad just being like, yeah, okay.
The salty aunt, like the well-knowing adult.
It's like, that's a weird thing to say in real life, my dear. Like
the two of them, Joel Grey and Louisa, we don't know his name yet. I just called him Bellamy because that's their last name. I called him Bellamy for the entire film.
I called him Bellamy. Same.
Cool. They go out onto their front porch. Yeah. Oh, I think it is Amos. They go out onto their front porch because he's bidding adieu to Louisa, and she greets their neighbor who is not peering over the fence, but is working on the fence that divides their two properties.
Yes.
And she greets him. He's unfriendly, and through a hole in the wall,
I espy
the neighbor's son mouths words to Louisa that I thought were "meet me in the garden," but that's not where they go. It's "meet me somewhere." And Louisa takes to the road, and we get our first full song, which is "Much More," which is, if you're a soprano, you probably know this song.
You probably know this song. I will say that this is, that this fence that they are building is much more akin to a wall. It is not like a picket fence kind of situation. It is like a blockade. So it feels very aggressive.
And it's made entirely of junk. It is not a nice blockade. Metal. This is you at the barricade. Listen to this. Like, this is what it is. Okay.
And so we get the song.
Wait, sorry. Hold on. What was the film we did that we?
I guess they really were miserable the whole time. Sorry.
Fuck off. No, what was the film that we put into the context of something absolutely ludicrous?
Oh, we put Unsinkable Molly Brown into the context of the Disney DreamWorks Prince of Egypt. And let me tell you, there were more correlations than you might think.
So here I am putting this into Les Mis. But
yes,
this song is fine. I was disappointed. I thought this song could have been used to unearth more about Louisa's character or more plot, just like more like it is the very beginning of the film. We still don't know a lot, but it's just a lot of poignant shots of her walking down the road.
Yeah, like it is an I Want song, but it doesn't actually introduce the conflict.
No, it doesn't. I also think it felt very one note to me, and I wanted her to act out. This is going to be we are starting off strong. This is my gripe, is that these songs. Yeah. Her songs specifically did not feel acted in. They did not feel filled. Matt's songs, like later, he did a better job, but the bar is so low. I wasn't a huge fan of Matt,
I'll be honest.
Yeah. But I did think he filled more moments.
Yeah.
The whole song is an I Want song, and it just did not feel fulfilled. Anyway.
Yeah.
She ends up near the circus.
The carnival. And so we cut to Matt. Matt is the son. He is leaving of the angry neighbor. Of like the junk neighbor. There's like the corn neighbor and the sunflower neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's Matt Huckleby. So he is running out to go to town, and he's like all dressed up, and his dad makes a comment, and he ends up in like an argument with Bellamy. And so the two dads, Bellamy and Huckleby, we'll just use their last names, and then we'll use the first names for the kids because that feels easiest.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So Bellamy and Huckabee start like this loud, obvious like argument that seems a little bit contrived, and then literally as soon as Matt leaves their earshot, they're like, and he's gone. Cool. Coffee. And they end up in one of their kitchens.
The feuding neighbors is a fake plot. The dads are plotting to get their kids together. And it's working.
And it's working because they comment through song, the song Never Say No, that the only way to get your kids to do what you want is to use reverse psychology and tell them not to do the thing that you want them to do.
It's a cute song, and I really want a version of this film where the dads end up together.
I do too. And the kids don't. That's what I want. Anyway, when we put this, but
after we stage, what are we staging first? This can be the second thing.
Harvey
Girls. Yeah. Once we stage the Harvey Girls.
Because we wanted those two guys to get together. We're just going to be doing gay versions of everything, and musicals are already gay, y'all. So here we are.
Yeah. In the year of our Lord 2023, all musicals are gay. And as they should be gay.
I will say this song had the first instance of my gripe, which was this happened a lot in the larger numbers, and again later in the abduction song, where they would have cuts and then actors would suddenly be in a new spot with absolutely no indication of how they moved there. And it didn't take into consideration actual human physical movement, because it wasn't like there was like a little musical interlude and you saw them moving to the new spot. It was just like an immediate cut. They were in a new spot and they started singing again. And I was just like, this doesn't feel like a real world anymore. This feels like a fake world now.
Yeah, the example I think of where it is successful is, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but like in both the animated but also the live action Beauty and the Beast, when she, like we get that thing of like, I want adventure in the great white somewhere, and she's like in the field and she spins. The previous shot is her like opening a
walking
door,
out of her
running
house.
through town. Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
we saw the movement of the beginning
So
of
it's
how to get there. Interesting.
I'm fine with cuts. I don't need to see the entire way of how she gets
That's
to
what
that
that's
fucking
what I
field.
thought you were saying.
No,
It was
no.
like-
But I just need some
Weird hill to
indication
die
of
on.
movement. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, and it happens a lot in this movie, and so that was my because it happened the first time, and I was like, I don't like this song for that reason because it feels weird and jarring. But then it happened again, and then it happened again, and I was like, okay, so this is like a directorial thing, and it's not my favorite.
The song ends. Never Say No ends, and Huckabee makes it ends that they both walk to their mailboxes.
Yes.
And Huckabee makes the comment that, okay, we've been doing this fake feud for a while. Like, we need to find a good resolution to this. We need to end the feud. Both of them have gotten
a climax. Yeah.
Both of them have gotten mailers in their mailboxes of the traveling circus coming to town. And there's an advertisement for a magician mysticism.
I had
You
to
wanna talk about it?
I had to pause to read it because it's so silly. This flyer is like a picture of Zorro, essentially, and it specifically says, family feuds settled, abductions arranged, happy endings guaranteed, and then at the bottom it says, cash only, no poultry accepted, which was very funny. But it's like specifically designed for their scenario. It was very silly.
I later paused when they were going over the itemized receipt, and I wrote down some of the stuff.
Did you? Please,
Yeah,
I can't
did.
wait to. I did not do that.
But the flyer is advertising this figure. Actually, I don't think it names him, but he can be found at the circus. So the father's
I
like,
think
cool,
it
we're going to
says
go to the
El
circus.
Gallo.
El Gallo, okay. Because I know he introduces himself
Gallo, sorry.
later.
Yes. Cut to the
Louisa
carnival.
arrives at the carnival and she wanders around in awe, and she sees a little traveling movie theater that travels with the circus. She goes in and she thinks she's alone. It's a silent film that's Romeo and Juliet, and so she starts screaming aloud the lines of like, Romeo, Romeo,
was just like,
wherefore
ma'am,
thou
you are
Romeo.
so loud.
You are so loud. Like, I get it, you're in the movie theater alone, but like, why are you yelling? And then surprise, Matt is behind her and he responds
Speaks
as Romeo.
Romeo's lines.
Yeah, it's cute. And she's like, Matt! And he sings the song Metaphor. He like, gets up onto the stage in front
She's
of
like,
the
our
movie
fathers
pictures.
will see us. It's all very classic. Trope.
It turns into a duet. It's about their love. And there's now I don't remember if this was a line in the movie on stage or a line that they sing, but they are singing and the line "Love conquers all" comes across, and I'm like, that's not the message of Romeo and Juliet.
No,
very famously, love does not
very
conquer.
Specifically, not the message.
And again, I just felt the actress playing Louisa was like really, really stiff, and even if you didn't like the Matt's vocals, I thought he at least seemed more in his body when it came to performing.
I just didn't find either of them very interesting until Act 2, but I think that might be on
that
purpose.
might also be the point. But so they finished their duet.
But it's all very like etheric and like poetic metaphors for love. It's like it's like a 16-year-old's image of what love is, which is what they are.
It's like great romantic, big grand gestures and heroics.
She is my leaf. I am his leaf. I am the moon. He is my moon. Like, it's all weird shit.
What is it if you're a bird, I'm a bird?
Yeah, same vibes. This movie is nothing but vibes.
So they finish their metaphor song. They go to leave the theater, and then they see their fathers outside. So they sneak out the back and plan to meet tonight by the big tree, and Matt gives her a kiss on the hand. It's very, again, gestury.
She's like, I will never wash this hand.
Thank you for reminding me of that. All right. The fathers meet El Gallo. And again, El Gallo definitely thinks the fathers are like trying to get together.
Are gay. Yeah. I know. They're like, oh, we have a problem with love. And he's like, this is going to be very difficult. And they're like, oh, no, not for us, for our kids. And he was like, less difficult.
He had the best lines, which is why he gave me fucking Princess Bride energy. These two bozos give El Gallo all the information without realizing it, so that he just plays them like a fiddle. He has
mentalism.
a bit about it's mentalism.
Yeah. where he like tricks them into revealing all of the information he needs while it looks like he's
scrying it from
yeah,
a crystal ball, yeah. And he proposes a plan for a price. He suggests, okay, we'll turn your son Matt into a hero, because Matt is, again, very mild-mannered, very timid. Yeah. Hasn't had the opportunity to be a hero in Oklahoma or wherever we are. El Gallo will play the villain, and he will pretend to kidnap Luisa. And then we get this big number called the abduction song, which is essentially explaining the plan.
Yes. I will say one of my favorite lines is right before the abduction song, where he's just like, oh, I could never pull this off for free. And so they're like, oh, well, $60. Would that be an insult? And he's like, yes, but I'm used to abuse, and grabs the money. And I laughed out loud.
That's the thing, like,
he had such quick, witty one-liners. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like vaguely British, which helped. And the abduction song turns into this big ensemble number with everyone else in the circus, and a kick line at the end, and the final line is the success of it, like, it depends on what you pay, like the final price. And then we cut to the father's, or El Gallo, going down a receipt and kind of checking the order, like the menu. Okay, I only got 2 lines, but thunder, comma, lightning, $12.50. Spectacular death of El Gallo, $65.99.
And it's all in there. That's so funny.
So funny. But it's almost like,
oh wow,
it almost is like a dim sum menu where like you check off the things that you want,
and then you get the total bill at the end.
El Gallo was like, okay, I'm obviously going to be involved, but for this price, like I'm going to need some other people from the troupe involved. Members. Yeah, like, do you want the chicken lady? She's great, but the fathers see
for free.
You get the eggs for free. I wrote that down too. But the fathers see this billboard within the advertisement, that's the word, for a Shakespearean act, and they're like, oh, what about that? And El Gallo's like, no, you don't want that. Do it. But Huckabee in particular is very intrigued by it, and he thinks it's very like highbrow, high class, like my son will be very into that. So they go and meet this duo of very old Shakespearean actors. Well, one is an actor and one is a fool, and the fool is played by Teller, which is a whole other thing. And we get a bit of the Shakespearean actor trying to
jumbled speeches.
And here's the thing: the Shakespeare plot doesn't go anywhere. It's not like it doesn't pay off anywhere.
Because the El Gallo was like, do not use these people, and so I expected it to go worse than it did, or for it to come back and like for them to reveal the plot by accident because they're dummies. Like there was no reason. There ended up being no reason why you couldn't.
I will say, so there's 2 versions of this film. We both watched the 86-minute version, and there is a 109-minute version, and I wonder if there's a payoff for the Shakespearean B plot.
Maybe.
Whatever. I think it's a comedy. It should be 90 minutes. Anyway.
Yes.
I don't even want to like go into more into the Shakespearean bit because it doesn't go anywhere. The fathers, the fathers go home and they've been given their scripts from El Gallo, and we get a little reprise of the abduction song. Cut to Luisa and Matt sitting under a tree that evening.
And they are so awkward. And Anna, it was triggering. I was like, every single teenager has been on this bad date where you're like, I think this person is cute. And then you actually spend time alone together and you're like, oh God, what do I say?
What do I say? What do we have in common?
And you're just so panicked.
It's so awkward. It's so silent. But like they clearly want that connection, but they don't know how to seek it,
how to start or establish.
Yeah, Luisa tries to like give Matt not an in, but like give him like, oh, she's like, oh, I'm cold, and he's like, oh, you can have my jacket, and then she says, oh, but like she's like, oh, but I don't
too much.
Protest.
Yeah,
and he's like, okay, I'll put the jacket back on.
I guess I'll just hold it if you don't like. I thought you wanted it. I guess I'll just put it back on, and she's like, crestfallen, and it's just like,
you're supposed to give me. Anyway, fake thunder happens, and the abduction begins.
They're sitting in like the crook of this tree down at the bottom, and then we get a shot up in the corner of the tree, and El Gallo is up there conducting actual music
bow.
with a conductor's bow. And there's a dude with like that the metal
big sheet of metal that makes thunder.
And he's two
And
dummies are like, it's gonna rain.
And then we get the song, Soon It's Gonna Rain.
Yeah.
And it's just missed connection after missed connection of Louisa pursuing Matt and Matt pursuing Louisa. And the thing that brought me a good giggle in this song was the very obvious behind the scenes theatrics that are going on of like the fistfuls of glitter being thrown to like
the full ass chorus behind the hill singing.
Full chorus. They have like a 20-person chorus.
What this reminded me of, the vibes of this was from The Little Mermaid, Sebastian, of like, wind, strings, words, there we see her.
It's honestly, it's the same film. It's the same film. We get a kiss.
It's so funny.
We
do get a kiss. It's very
maybe
quick,
their first
very
kiss.
simple. Yeah, I think
and
it
Matt's
is.
like, how was it? And Louisa goes, it was wonderful. Like, she does not seem convinced, but
because
doesn't
it was
really
also,
have much to
like, first kisses
so
are
fast.
weird. Like, it was just so quick, so fast, very simple, which makes sense for a first kiss, but like, upon reflection, your first kiss is never your best kiss. So like, no.
And then we get a game of Marco Polo. Tell me I'm wrong.
Guys,
tell me I'm wrong.
Blindfold your partner.
It's never... Okay, I'm grabbing my microphone.
Good.
Dear listener, this boy pulls out a blindfold and blindfolds Louisa as like it's a game and she has to find him and she catches him. It's like Pin the Tail on the Donkey / Marco Polo. Anyway, she finds him.
Pinata,
Yeah. She puts the blindfold on him, so he has to find her. But that is the moment that she is fireman slung over a circus man's shoulder, and Matt gets knocked unconscious. And then we get this very, very, very long action sequence of the kidnapping.
It was so long. But it really does highlight...
Hey, they got what they paid for.
They got what they paid for. It is a production. So the whole sequence, so I'll go through the sequence quickly. So she gets dragged to the carnival. He gets bonked on the head, but also dragged to the carnival. He sees a sword and a stone. He pulls out the sword and starts sword fighting people. Now it is very, like, I would give these actors that sword fought with him a 100% on any grade. Because let me tell you, leading someone around by the nose and making them think that they're good at sword fighting is hard to fucking do.
Yeah.
So, this whole battle ensues. She's like tied to a thing. Knives are thrown at her. She's released. She actually kind of gets away from the Shakespeare actors at one point. He's in the middle of like a 4-person sword fight, winning, obviously. She's chucked into a cannon and is shot.
You can't gloss over that.
Cannon.
She's put into a cannon and shot across the circus into the arms of El Gallo, who's up on a high dive.
Yeah, into like one of those tiny pools, like a kiddie pool, and that's like the whole gimmick.
Matt King Kong's up his way up the high dive and be like, let her go!
But I will say at this point, Louisa and El Gallo have eye contact, or at least Louisa does.
They have eye contact because El Gallo's hot. And he has this grand escape where he jumps into the high dive. Louisa and Matt are reunited. I can't get over the fucking cannon. Did you see the chicken woman in the background of this just sitting in her nest?
I did not!
Anyway.
That's funny as hell.
El Gallo has escaped. Like they go down, they look at the pool, and he's not there. Then the fathers are there, and they make up. And
I know
Louisa says,
like, he rescued me, and the dads very quickly are like, I guess everything's resolved then. Handshake, and let's all walk home together.
I always knew there would be a happy ending. And the foursome skip back to their houses, happy and in love. They do split once they Matt goes with his dad, and Louisa goes with her father. Louisa and her father have a nice little moment in front of the house.
Loved this dance because, you know, it's this moment they have like this really like, because Matt and Louisa whisper, it's like, oh, ask your dad if we can stay up all night and like watch the sunrise. And she goes to her dad and she's wearing her mom's necklace. And without really speaking to each other, they just have this really beautiful like dance, like it felt like an acknowledgement of a relationship of like deep love for each other that has survived through like the loss of a person. And I'm sure I'm projecting on top of that dance, but it felt very quiet and very
it was really
connected.
it was really
they
subtle.
felt so connected to each other.
It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And
anyway.
they are given permission. We next see Louisa and Matt sitting on her porch swing.
Oh wait, no. We see them getting ready first, and he like does mouthwash. She like puts on perfume. They're like both getting prepped for this night, but they just sit on the porch, and it's
so awkward. And Louisa makes a comment after a couple false starts at conversation that she doesn't want her love to be like this. I don't want to be sitting timidly on a porch swing fumbling for a timid kiss. I want a hero. You have to be my hero. And Matt, to his credit, like rolls with the bit of the moon is my love and it shines only for us. Like he says yes, and Louisa
he goes poetry for it.
But Louisa, girl, you are a wet blanket.
Yeah. And she's like into this whole like poetry, like threatening the moon's haunted. Yeah, and so
thank you for that throwaway.
Yes, of course. And so she's into it, and then he like grabs her and like does a 50s mouth mash kiss, and she is not into it because those kisses are not romantic in real life. It's just pushing your body parts together.
Yeah.
And she can like taste his mouthwash, and it's just like, guys, like real life.
That's real life. This is the rose-colored glasses are starting to come off. Yeah. The honeymoon phase is over. This is the reality, and that leads us into the next morning. We get the song "This Plum Is Too Ripe." It starts with just Louisa and Matt kind of bickering at each other, and it becomes a quartet of all four. The gist of the song is like the golden moonbeams reveal the boring light of day. Like life is not all rainbows and romantic lighting. Everyone squabbles. Everyone has like
everyone's tired. Things. They stayed up all night, and they still have a whole ass day of work to do. Like it's not romantic to stay up all night if you got shit to do the next day.
And the song ends with the four of them sitting on Matt's house's porch. And there is a funny moment where the fathers start bickering, and Louisa kind of stands up and goes, what are you two fighting about? This is our argument.
This is our argument.
And it comes to light that the fathers purchased for these heroics. Matt sees that receipt, and it's not really revealed that the father's feud was fake. It's almost revealed, and then Huckabee saves it at the very last minute.
Yeah, but everything that happened last night was fake. And so Matt and Louisa go to confront.
Matt goes to confront El Gallo. Louisa says, like, you're not going alone, I'm going with you. And then
we get this. I
really liked this scene.
So Matt goes to challenge him to a sword fight because that's what he did last night. And the thing is that El Gallo's no longer being paid to make Matt think that he's a hero. Good.
Yeah.
So El Gallo wipes the floor with him. And the fun part about this is that there is no music. It is just dead silence, just the swords, just El Gallo being like, you gotta watch your footwork. Don't take your eyes off your opponent. Like, just like all of this.
Dressing him down.
And it's like, it's rude to attack someone when they're shaving. Oh, right, you don't shave yet. Like, just really, like, digging in at every opportunity.
And there's a full audience. The entire circus is just there watching this, not cheering.
And they're not concerned. They're not concerned at all. They're just doing their own morning shit.
Yeah.
And, like,
El Gallo disarms Matt, and Louisa tries to accost El Gallo. Tries to slap him. He catches her wrist. He says, you'll hurt your hand. And then he kisses her wrist and makes her essentially swoon, and Matt gets jealous and storms off because he's a petulant child.
Absolutely, because he's a teenager.
Yeah, they're both teenagers.
Matt leaves and Luisa ends up following him, and they have this argument on the walk home where he's just like, you were into that guy, like, I don't know, like, maybe I should be a villain. Like, he's just very jealous, and he's like, well, I'm gonna go and leave and make money and find, like, women who are gonna actually appreciate me, and she's like, see if I care, and runs off, and both kids are very upset.
Louisa sobs at home in her bed, obviously heartbroken that she's had a fight with her boyfriend, but also she thinks of El Gallo kissing her hand.
And that night, I get confused as to what
Okay,
here.
To the best of my ability, Matt sees colorful lights outside of his house. And it could have been two things. It might have been hypnotism, or it might have been him imagining the brilliant world that's outside of his four walls that he says he wants to go see. So that's him manifesting it. There is a swirly, whirly circus light that kind of like a moth to a flame draws him to the circus. But it's unclear whether he's
people like running it. Like we get shots of people
we see the behind the scenes.
And spinning the thing. And so it's very clear that it is an illusion. But
he willingly following it, or is he under
like
a trance?
Yeah,
I don't know. Those are the two things I got. But he gets to the circus, and there are lyrics. This is a duet between Matt and El Gallo called "I Can See It," where Matt, and this is part of why I think maybe it was him manifesting his dream world. He's talking about, I can see a gleaming world at very much like glass half full, like the world's the world's your oyster. And El Gallo has lyrics where he's like, I know better from experience. I know the world is not my oyster. But
yes, it is dangerous and people will take advantage of you, like I'm about to
Matt
do.
arrives at the circus, specifically to the space called the Casbah, where the Shakespearean actor from before and his fool are dressed in faux women costumes as if they are like in a harem. They give Matt an elixir to drink that's supposed to make you brave.
Dummy drinks it. This fucker not willingly drugs himself, but basically is like very easily convinced to drink this smoking goblet and is immediately drugged and
immediately tripping balls on the floor. I was very surprised to see fake nipples on these I was just like, that couldn't have been right, and then there very much was.
Rated PG.
I know.
Too.
I mean, we all know we have nipples, but it was like a whole thing. But anyway, Luisa, we see Luisa next singing singing a brief reprise of Much More, and she goes to the tree where she and Matt met the evening prior. Surprise! El Gallo is there in the tree. Watching
Why you in the tree?
Her.
Yeah.
And they flirt, ?
Banter. It's like she's flirting and he likes banter, and so it kind of bounces off each other in that way. She ends up climbing up, there's this whole thing of like, oh, can I join you in the tree? And he's like, if you can. And she looks for it, and he was like, try the ladder that I put in the back because I can't climb this tree without a ladder. And so she goes up the ladder, and they're sitting in the tree before, and it's definitely
kind of energy, removing the illusion of the ladder removes the illusion. Is what I'm saying.
And he tries to do this a lot, which is remove the illusions from her eyes. But she is adamant to see nothing but the magic of it all. He kisses her wrist again, and she's like, take me with you when you leave. I want to see
show
the world.
me the world.
See all these things that I haven't seen. I want to do all these things I haven't done, and I want to do it with you. And then we get this whole ass sequence, which is very, very creepy.
It's called Round and Round. They dance at the carnival. At one point, I thought they were gonna fuck in the carnival, but instead,
I was curious if that was the implication.
It's possible. What instead happens? Well, maybe also they fuck at the carnival, but what happens next
in a gazebo?
Is this long in a gondola?
In a gondola?
Because we get It's a Small World sequence essentially where El Gallo is sitting behind Luisa, she's sitting at his knees essentially, and they are in a gondola going past all these scenes, and it's like he's showing her the world. There's a I don't even remember like where the scenes were. There was one in India. There was one
in Venice. There was one in
Yeah.
Greece. There was one in India. And in between each of these scenes, we also get these major dance sequences where Louisa's getting more and more tired. Because in the tree at one point, she was like, I want to dance with you forever and forever. And so he keeps her dancing, and she is getting more and more exhausted. Like,
He
"Maybe we
won't
can
let
sit
her
this
rest.
next one out." He's like, no, the music is still going. And it's just like, it's the reality of what your fantasy is, which is not always
You
good.
said you wanted to dance forever. That means
Forever
you never
and ever.
stop.
You
And the
can't stop.
scenes, the small world scenes of Greece, of Venice, of India, feature a chorus of the circus performers in costume and a drugged Matt, who is always slightly disguised. He has like a masquerade mask. He has his head bandaged at one point, and
But
after
he's
getting
shit.
beaten up, and he almost like he's the butt of the joke in every single scene. And Luisa is always like, "Oh, is that person okay?" And El Gallo has a response every time of like, "Oh no, he wants to be there. Put your mask back on," because he's given her a masquerade mask. And once she puts the mask on, she sees, "Oh, it's a joke. He's having fun." Like putting the rose-colored glasses on. It's unpleasant until you put on the mask, is what the line is. And there's one, I think it's the Grease one, where like they're running Matt ragged, and so she's worried about him, and then she puts on the mask and she's like, "Oh, it's like a marathon. He wants to be doing this." I just love classic sports. It's like, what? But and a couple times during this, we see Matt almost come to and see Louisa almost in his own fever dream and call out for her. Yeah.
I will say the final dance before the end of the song, before we cut to back outside the carnival, there were some great dance moves where they, like, Louisa's obviously a trained dancer because they threw her over top of someone. She was in the splits and then landed in the perfect, like, the bird ballet pose. Yeah. And I was just like, all right,
Cut
Louisa.
to the next morning, El Gallo and Louisa are standing in the field outside of the carnival, like close to the carnival. And Louisa says,
like under the tree, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. And she says she's suddenly afraid. I think it's because there's like thunder in the background.
Yeah. The sky has gone dark, but like at daytime dark.
And she says she thinks he is magical, and he tells her like it could all just be an illusion. And then he
Smoke and mirrors.
maybe is magical because he like pulls up like a windstorm and like thunder cracks.
Well, but like through this, he's attempting to try to get her to see that the carnival isn't real. There isn't magical. It's all illusion, smoke,
show.
and mirrors. But does this through magic? It was very bizarre, and it kind of defeated the purpose because he's like, it's an illusion, and he snaps his fingers and all the lights go out, and then he like claps his hand and like some things collapse, and then he like whistles and like thunder strikes down, and the tree, like all of the leaves fall off the tree, and it's just like, okay, I get what you're saying, but the way in which you're saying it, isn't coming across.
You are terrorizing your own circus, Phantom.
Truly.
And she says, like, I still think you're wonderful. And he yells at her, like, this was all a trick. He seems conflicted, too. He warns her, like, you have to be careful. You shouldn't trust me. You are naive. You shouldn't be so trusting. And she goes, but I trust you. No, you shouldn't, ma'am.
Why?
You should not be trusted.
Why?
He just told you he can't be trusted.
Well, and then he like tries to push into the reality of what leaving with him will be, which is like, go get your things. We'll never see this town again, or maybe we'll come back in like 10 years and see if your father's still alive. Like, this is what leaving is.
Yeah.
And but honestly, part of me was just like, maybe this will rip the glasses off of her face of like, see the consequences of the choices that you're making and be aware of them so that you can't blame anyone but yourself. You need to know what this is. And she still has like stars in her eyes, and it's just like, no, I still want to go. But like in not in like a acknowledgement of the consequences way, still very starry-eyed. And she asks for a kiss, and so he kisses her eyes, and she's like, oh, I'll always remember that. And then he quotes that book back to her, and it still doesn't sink in for her. And so as she's leaving, he's like, hey, to prove you're coming back, I need something from you. Give me, how about that necklace? And she's like, oh, it's my mother's necklace. And he's like, then I know you'll come back. She gives it to him and asks, you're really going to take me, right? And he replies, would I lie? And then she leaves.
And he tells the circus to continue packing up.
He's like, wrap it up,
we
y'all.
see then Matt walking along the dirt road amidst flames. They're doing some kind of like controlled burn on the hayfield. It's never
there was also
addressed.
lightning coming down.
True.
I don't know if that set some fields on fire.
So we see him heading home, but he goes home through the circus. He sees El Gallo packing up the circus. He sees the necklace of Luisa's. He goes, "Where did you get that? You must have stolen it." And El Gallo goes, after El Gallo like punches him or pushes him away, he goes, "No, it was given to me as a souvenir."
So, cut to Louisa. She is packing everything, and she hears the carnival leaving past her door, and she looks out and starts calling for El Gallo and runs after it, but they're cars, so she can't catch up, and she ends up watching them, like, go over the horizon and collapses and starts crying.
Yeah, sobbing. She then she reunites with Matt. Like, he walks down the road, and they see each other. And she's like, you look terrible. What happened? And he tells her he was drugged. And they both admit, like, we have been really naive. We have been really foolish. And we get the song "They Were You," which starts out with just Matt, and then it becomes a duet of. Let me pull up the lyrics really quickly because it's kind of hard to explain. They were you, the Fantasticks.
It's like a softer acknowledgement of like a more realistic
Okay, here
love.
it is. It's like, when the moon was young, when the month was May, I saw shining lights, but I never knew they were you. So when the dance was done, I went on my way, and all the lights seemed to fade away. They were you. Without you, I can't see. So realizing that you're not going to find that unless you like. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that made me happy wasn't the adventure. It was you.
It was the friendship we made along the way.
So, and it starts to snow, and they like both wrap themselves together in his coat.
And they
walk
share
home.
a coat. Yeah.
And
She takes the ribbon off of her wrist that she had.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention she wrapped a ribbon around her wrist to remind her of whatever.
Of El Gallo. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't remember how I'd said that. Matt and Luisa walk home arm in arm. We get a reprise of "You Are Love," and their fathers are so relieved to see them.
Yes,
absolutely. They all reunite.
And then we get El Gallo singing the final song, "Try to Remember," and him kind of reflecting of what happened, but what the thing that I was just like, oh, this fucker, on his rear view mirror, he has hanging like 10 different trinkets and like hairpins and like necklaces, and one of them is
Luisa's necklace,
mother's necklace. So this has happened before. This will happen again. And every time he takes something important.
When I saw that, I was like, holy shit. This has happened before and it will happen again. But we fade out on the circus, moving on to their next town. And then we get a really cute little credit scene of the cast bowing in front of a live audience.
Actually bowing. It was really nice.
And then the audience turned out to be the circus actors, who then turn around and they bow.
They
it was
have
really
their bow.
cute.
Yeah.
And that's how this film ends.
That's the end of this
Isn't that
film.
wild?
Yeah. I want to see it on stage because there were some changes that I'll talk about.
It ended on such a somber note.
Yeah.
That it felt a little abrupt to be like, okay, now everyone's clapping, which, like, to be fair, that's how plays are, you know,
that's
when
how
like
plays go. You're like, Orpheus just lost everything. Yay, you did a good job. You made me cry. Yay.
Like you're clapping while you're still sobbing. You're like, Grace, what did you think of this film? A nice short film.
Oh, I know. I was very happy to have a shorter one this time around. It made me really want to see the stage production because I feel like this is more emotionally. I think it would have more emotionally impactful.
To my understanding, the stage production is very stripped back. I think it's a 5-person show.
Yeah,
there is not, and I mean that's the difference between staging it as a show or staging it as a movie, where if you have the budget and then you have the expanse, you can build a full circus. But when you strip that away, will the story and character development shine through clearer is the question. And we joked that like this was Into the Woods, essentially, plot-wise.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think there was so much going on in Act 2, particularly the drugged sequence.
Yeah.
that I feel like I lost a bit of Luisa's character development.
Yeah.
I lost both of their character developments.
Yeah.
It's like they went through hell. But how are they changed? I guess that's the
right.
thing. I'm not sure how they're changed, other than hopeful.
Yeah, and I think, like we said with Into the Woods, it's the same moral, which is that stories don't end at happily ever after. The story doesn't end when you get the girl. And what's important is what the next step is. And I do think it did a good job of discussing the pitfalls of that moral and like the stars in your eyes and the rose-colored glasses. And
yeah,
it definitely felt like there were consequences.
I agree. Shall we do a little dramaturgy report?
Yes.
Dramaturgy report. Dramaturgy report.
Cool.
So this was directed by Michael Ritchie, who was an American film director, producer, and writer of films. There was a comment on his bio of just like, that was a review from another colleague that was like, this guy never did the same thing twice. He has like a very varied career. Yeah. But his films tended to lean mostly comedic and satirical. He had some big commercial successes, specifically directing sports films, like sports comedic films like Downtown Racer and Bad News Bears.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But this film was a pet project of his. He had been a huge fan of the original stage production, and I think kind of just bided his time and waited until like he was able to do his passion project. And it was what it was.
Yeah. We'll talk about how...
Yeah,
what
I'm going to get into the different versions of it. And reviews, reception, and release. But don't have a lot for the cinematographer either. His name was Fred Murphy. He's still around. He's a New York-based cinematographer. He has worked on over 50 films. I don't think he had ever worked with Ritchie before, but some of his films include Hoosiers, The Dead, Secret Window, Autofocus, and something called The Mothman Prophecies.
Ooh, that sounds
And I didn't
weird.
recognize any other musicals or any other films, so I'm curious about how he was involved and his musical experience. And I'm sure you're going to talk about this later, but something that does set this film apart is that the singing was live, which compared to the last film we did where the singing was live, this was so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk a little bit about the stage play and the writers. So the writers were music and lyrics and book. So the script and the original stage play and all of the music and lyrics were done by Thomas Colin Jones and Harvey Lester
That's cool
Schmidt.
that they were involved.
So they were heavily involved. They wrote the script.
That's not very common.
No, not at all. So, they were best known for the Fantasticks. It ran for 42 years from 1960 to 2002 and is the longest running musical in history. It had a total of 17,162 performances.
I think up until COVID, there was another production running in New York City. It's not the original, and it was at a different theater.
No, they had a revival. Yeah. They also did 110 in the Shade together, which ran for 330 performances and got a Tony Award nomination. They did I Do, I Do, and they were both nominated for Tony Awards for Best Composer and Lyricist and Best Musical. So they've worked together a couple of times, but their most famous one is 100% The Fantasticks. So this musical is loosely based on an 1894 play, The Romancers, by Edmond Rostand, which is like the same kind of conceit of the two fathers trying to trick their kids into falling in love. The musical was awarded the Tony Honors for Excellence in Theater in 1991. And it got very famous, especially for the song Try to Remember. That was probably the most impactful song. It's the only one that has its own Wikipedia article. And there've been a lot of other productions. It was revived from 2006 to 2017. There's like approximately 250 new productions each year. It's really popular in high schools because it's a limited cast, it's a limited set. You can get away with like
there's no cursing, there's no sex on stage. staged
Exactly.
violence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been played in like over 60 countries. As of 2010, its original investors had earned 240 times their original investments. This is a successful Broadway show, and it's not one of the more popular ones, which is really, really funny and interesting. I will say, so the main difference between the movie and the play, the first act is pretty similar, with like a few variances, but nothing too crazy. The main thing is that when Matt goes to the circus and gets drugged, he is gone for a month.
Whoa.
Gone. Like he says, I'm leaving to find my fortune in that argument in Louisa, and then he disappears.
For a month.
For a month, and that's where everyone thinks he is. And so the fathers are just like, and this reignites basically an actual feud between the two fathers. So they are genuinely fighting now because the son is gone, and Louisa is like almost catatonic, like only lives in her head, is not like doing anything, participating in life. And so it's only when she ends up at the circus that things sort of start to, basically she like starts to come back to life a little bit. Hold on, I'll see if I can find, there's like one or two other things in Act 2 that were crazy. So whenever that Matt and El Gallo kind of have a back and forth with Louisa, where Louisa's like, I want to go with El Gallo, and Matt reappears and has a reprise of his I Can See It song, and sort of tells her about all of these cruel things that have been done to him during this month that he's been drugged and stuck at the circus, basically. And she, and so she ends up choosing El Gallo, but then Matt tries to stop them. There's a fight. So that's kind of like where the fight in the circus happens, kind of deal. And she leaves to go and get some stuff, but then that's when everything goes away. So it's just like that sequence of the round and round. It's been a month since Louisa has seen Matt, and she didn't expect him to be there. It's not like that same night kind of deal. Because she thought according to their fight, that he's been gone.
He's been gone. Fortune. Yeah, he's in Spain or something. Like
and so it kind of makes the reaction of the dads whenever they finally both do come back, and she's more herself. She's responding to things. She's no longer like in this like zone state, and he's back. It makes their reaction of like, oh my God, you're home, make way more sense. Because it felt like the kids were gone for one night, and that's a panic for the dads, but it felt overblown to me. And then like knowing like, oh, in the stage play it was a much more significant amount of time, was like,
holy
okay,
crap.
Interesting.
I don't know why they didn't do that in the film. Like, why did they choose?
Maybe they did in that cut, what was it, like 30 minutes, or cut like 20 minutes.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the main difference in terms of the plot. It's still the same vibe, but it deepens the consequences. You were going to talk about, I don't know if we want to cut straight to actors and casting. We were going to talk about like
the different versions there are and how it was released.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
jump. If now's the time to do that.
Yeah, I can jump.
I can talk about. I was going to go into Joel
Gray.
So
this film was shot and completed in 1995, and it was scheduled for a Thanksgiving release. However, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, upon hearing the like indifferent and lackluster pre-audience testing, fully lost faith in. They were just like, we're not risking it, and they shelved it. And they shelved it for 5 years. The only reason it was re-released was because of a contractual obligation to, are Jones and Schmidt the writers? Yeah, so due to a contractual obligation to the writers, the film had to have a theatrical release. However, before it did, it received a haircut. It was trimmed from the original 109 minutes down to 86 by none other than Francis Ford Coppola. And the abridged version was released in 4 theaters in September of 2000. So it did not get a nationwide release. It really, they had no faith in it. Now, the director's original version does exist. It was part of a limited 2015 Blu-ray release, as a special feature, but it never received a theatrical release, and no high-definition versions of it exist.
Wild. So I'll talk a little bit. I was going to go into Joel Grey, because he's definitely
he's the most interesting,
famous person in this cast, and most long-lasting in terms of impact. So, very famous singer, dancer, photographer, director, best known for Cabaret, where he won a fuck ton of awards.
Everything.
He's also been in Chicago. Most people my age know him as the Wizard of Oz in Wicked. So he started out in shows like when he was very, very young, just always as like the child theater. And at age 20, he started appearing as a featured performer at the Copacabana nightclub in New York. But his breakthrough was as his role as the Master of Ceremonies in Cabaret in 1966, and he ended up winning the Tony Award for that, for Best Featured Actor in a Musical. And then he immediately followed that up with as George M. Cohen in the 1968 musical George M., where he was nominated again for Best Actor and received Outer Critics Circle Award for Outstanding Performance. In 1972, he reprised his role as the Master of Ceremonies in the film of Cabaret, which I am very excited for us to do, because it is reportedly one of the best musical films of all time, hands down. So he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, and Cabaret almost had a full sweep at the Oscars that year, and we'll get into it more whenever we actually do Cabaret, but it lost Best Picture to The Godfather, which... If it was 1 year different, like, fine, I think it would have gotten the full sweep. Like, I understand, but I'm still mad about it. Anyway, so he also originated the role of the Wizard of Oz in Wicked.
Yeah.
He was in the revival of Anything Goes.
That's right. I saw him.
Yeah.
I always forget he was in that.
He was in the off-Broadway production of The Normal Heart and ended up co-directing the revival in 2011. He was in The Cherry Orchard in 2016 with Diane Lane and Chuck Cooper. He directed in 2018 a Yiddish language production of Fiddler
I remember
on the
that.
Roof.
I know someone that was in that.
Yeah. And it was a hit. It ran for over a year. Yeah. And it won the 2019 Drama Desk and Outer Critics Circle Award for Best Musical Revival. He was presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award on June 10th, 2013 by the National Yiddish Theater, and he won the Oscar Hammerstein Award for Lifetime Achievement in Musical Theater on December 5th, 2016, presented by the York Theater Company in New York City. The theater said in part, "We are thrilled to celebrate the extraordinary Joel Grey, whose artistry for over half a century has become an indelible part of Broadway history."
Amen.
So he's still working and killing the game, and like honestly, it feels like one of the grandfathers of Broadway, or at least like the modern age.
Did you say how old he is?
Love. How old is he?
He's
now?
91.
Like 92? Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm not ready to lose Joel Grey.
I know. Oof. Anyway, so that is Joel Grey, and we will absolutely be seeing him again in Cabaret. Maybe I should have done him for Cabaret, but there was literally no one else in this movie that I was interested in looking at.
That's totally okay. I have a little bit in terms of reviews. We talked about reception. This film received lackluster reviews. That wasn't clear. Yeah. It's got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I pulled a quote from the New York Times that said, "The film wobbles between timeless and anachronistic."
Yeah.
Live theater can tolerate outsized gestures, rickety sets, and willful illusionism more easily than film, which is a stubbornly literal-minded medium. So at the bottom, Fantasticks is a tribute to the powerful transformation of theater, and theater is where it should be allowed to remain.
That's kind of the vibe that I ended up with, where I was like, I want to see this on stage. I feel like it would be more emotional, like I said, it would be more emotionally impactful on stage.
Okay,
somehow.
Singing and dancing? I say dancing because there was no dancing.
There was only in the round and round.
Oh, that's true.
Literal,
that's true.
Like,
there was
dance
a dance
until
sequence.
You drop kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And that dancing was quite good.
Yeah.
They were all ballet dancers, and she did a good job.
Louisa was
and
on
he
point.
did a good job.
Literally.
Like we said, yes, she was. The singing was done live.
Yeah.
They had like little microphones.
Which for
and I think
95, pretty impressive.
not bad, especially considering after, what was it, 75 with At Long Last Love.
God, that was a bad
And
film.
they really struggled.
But also,
with the
I don't
singing
think,
live because
at least I will
there
say,
was tech problems.
there were I'm sure there's going to be inevitably tech problems. I think the quality of the voices was inherently, bottom line, better in this.
Yes.
And so it wasn't as noticeable when it was bad.
When it was off. Yeah.
What's funny is I had
yeah.
forgotten about the dance sequence in Round and Round, so I wrote fighting because there was some good fight choreography. There was some good more
was-
sword fighting than I anticipated in this film.
There was more sword fighting than I anticipated. So, well, and that's my moment, when we can cut quickly then to my moment of joy, is the difference between the staged sword fighting versus the quote-unquote realistic sword fighting.
Yeah.
And I think that is a credit to their fight choreographer to be able to do both mediums and have them so naturally contrast each other to really highlight the theme of this musical of like grandiose gestures and big Three Musketeers fighting, of just jumping over a thing and parrying something behind your head, and like things that are not realistic in a sword fight if you're trying to go more for realism, and then having that direct contrast with something that is a little bit more realistic of what would happen if someone with experience were to go up against a newbie. There is still a danger of the blade because they are bladed weapons, but he says the line in there, something where it's just like experience wins out every time. I really loved the contrast between those two fight scenes, so that is 100% my moment of joy.
That's a good moment of joy. I don't know if I have a moment of joy, honestly.
That's fine. That was like a big like a heart to my stage combat background.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's like
which
that
totally
was very
makes
specific
sense.
for me. Yeah. Do you have any
my
giggles?
gripes and my giggles were, I talked about my gripe pretty early on. I found Louisa very stiff and the songs underfilled. My giggle was that this was the Phantom of the Opera. Like, there were just so many moments where I was like, is this fucking Eric? Are we in a grotto right now?
Eric, why do you have so many candles? Yeah, my giggles were that there were so many good one-liners.
There
That
were some really
made
good
me laugh
one-liners.
out loud.
And they were all mostly...
It's like, is $60 acceptable? No, but I'm used to abuse. Like
El Gallo and the fathers had the best one-liners, and which is pretty common.
Yes.
Are you the young lovers
Older
don't
characters
always get
are rarely
the quick,
funny.
Yeah, they're rarely funny. Do you have any fun facts?
El Gallo is Spanish
For
for the
rooster. I saw that.
It was the only one that I
found
found.
one that wasn't on that source, but this was the director's second to last film. Technically, however, it was the last to be released because it came out 5 years later.
It came out 5 years later.
He ended up passing in
so
2001, so like this was truly the last.
Oh wow!
The last film
of his
to get a cinematic release. What homework do you have? Do you have any homework?
I don't, because my homework would be to watch a stage production of this.
Yeah,
if you can.
and if you can't, watch Phantom of the Opera instead. That's my But I would, if you can see a stage production or even a filmed version of a stage production.
Of a stage production? Yeah.
That would be good homework.
Yeah.
Well, this was nice and short. Well, if you're still with us, thank you so much for tuning in to 5, 6, 7, 8, a movie musical podcast. We're here every 2 weeks with a new movie musical. I have been Anna.
I'm still
Take care of
Grace.
yourselves and others, and we'll see you on the next one. It's our holiday one. Goodbye.
I'm so excited. Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8. There's no business like show business, like no business I know.